I carried that restaurant in my brain for such a long time. And then, like James said, we've brought so many people in that have added to it and have made it what it is today. The fact that everyone loves it that much, I'm like, that's great. That's great. It fills my heart. It really does.
I think what surprises me most is that London isn't the centre of the world, which is what I thought it was. The really cool thing now is that people come up from London, start to experience this new city, and they're like, wow, it's amazing. And you're like, yeah, Edinburgh is amazing.
I'm Kevin Rivers, and my friend Carlos Miranda and I are two American expats who spend their days either eating or waiting to eat in our adopted home of Edinburgh. We are on a 10-episode journey to learn the stories behind some of the bars, restaurants, and coffee shops that make up this city's world-class food scene. This is Eating and Waiting to Eat.
What's the most surprising thing about the podcast so far?
Honestly, I think it's the reception that we've gotten from our guests. I think people's excitement to be on the podcast and share their stories is the most surprising.
When we started doing this podcast, I thought if we got a couple of dozen listeners, people who are interested like us in like geeking out with chefs here in Edinburgh, it'd be fun. But the reception that we've gotten, I'm just so excited and so happy that our little show is resonating with people. Well, I love that we can share our love and geekiness for these restaurants and the people behind them, and we can tell their stories. The reception has been so overwhelming and so positive. You see it on Instagram. You see the messages of like, I've never been to Mirren, or I have to go to Moots. And it's just wonderful that we've been able to kind of hit a chord with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's give listeners a little insight into Carlos Likes a Thing. The first time we went to eat together was such a good glimpse into Carlos Likes a Thing. You had a standing reservation for 2 people for Kawaneku on Fridays at lunch. You had the restaurant, you had the time, you just didn't have the guest. But every week on Friday, you were going to Kawaneku with somebody for lunch.
Correct. I like routine, but routine around food. It isn't like in all aspects of my life. It's generally over food. As you know, as we joke, I like being a regular. I get such enjoyment from a connection to a place or to people or to a thing. So it isn't that I don't like to try new things because we're always going to new restaurants. But the moment I like hone in on one thing, my natural inclination is to be like, okay, I'm not going to go here around these times on these dates, and I'm going to get my thing. My friend Steven, every time I'm doing something he expects, he'll just send me a text that says CLAT. That stands for Carlos Likes a Thing.
I've never seen you happier than when you are planning something. Not even doing the thing, just planning something is your favorite activity.
I love making reservations. And you know, sorry, not sorry. I love going to Moots and getting the Moots with hot honey. I love having my double espresso at Fortitude. I love going to Kawaneku and getting the same thing all the time.
But this week, our guest is special in terms of a Carlos thing. They're not just the place you go for lunch and order this one thing. They're not just the place you go for dinner and order this other thing. It is a Carlos Likes a Thing that serves many purposes for you. So why don't you tell us who we've got this week?
We have Lloyd Morse and James Snowdon, the duo behind arguably the ultimate Carlos Likes a restaurant in Edinburgh, the Palmerston. I love the Palmerston so much that I have like casual lunches there, work lunches. I've had birthday parties there. I've had one of the best nights that you and I ever hung out. We ended up there. And so it is a multi-purpose Carlos Likes a Thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us some of the vital stats on Palmerston.
Well, it opened in 2021. It's very much modern Scottish fare. Whatever Lloyd and James get their hands on, it's what they're cooking, right? And it's got a great vibe. The building where they're at used to be an old bank. And so there's a very cool, down-to-earth, relaxed vibe, but in a very grand environment. And I think that juxtaposition of the space is also reflected in the food. A lot of the food is like pasta with ragu or a roast chicken. It's like simple dishes that are grand in taste. There's this really cool parallel between how relaxed the environment is and the grandness of the environment with the food. You could be in there in jeans and a t-shirt and you don't look out of place sitting next to two people in suits who are having a work lunch and they don't look out of place.
Yeah, it's a restaurant that can serve so many different purposes. You can go in the morning, you can get your pastry, you can get your coffee, you can take a loaf of bread home, you can go for a quick lunch and just a couple dishes, you can go for a really nice business lunch, you can go for a lovely dinner and have a celebration, you can just go sit at the bar and have a glass of wine, you can go on the weekend and order their amazing dishes that serve multiple people. It's actually quite impressive how they're able to do that.
Going back to Carlos Likes a Thing, their menu changes all the time. So aside from the sourdough, which I always get, I actually don't have a go-to dish.
So I definitely have a go-to order there. If their half roast chicken is on the menu, I'm ordering it every single time because it is the perfect roast chicken. The chicken is cooked perfectly. The like mustard fennel sauce that it's in is amazing, and they do it with fries or chips depending on how you call them. And the mustard sauce gets on the chips, and it is perfection. If you have not had that dish, you need to, but it's usually only on the menu on weekends. So tell listeners, do they need a reservation?
100%. It's so popular. It's hard just to walk in and get a table. It's not crazy, but like book ahead. All right, so we bring the boys on.
Yeah, let's turn it over to them.
Gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on
Thank
Eating
you.
and Waiting to Eat. I want to get things off with a question that, as a big fan of the Palmerston, what's the story of the bread? It's hands down the best bread in all of Scotland.
It's just bread. The guy that came, Alex Sage, or Uncle Crumbs, as
Uncle
he's known
Crumbs.
by, worked for the same place that Lloyd worked for in London, Primeur and Julian. And I think it was just by chance that we found a site that could fit a bakery in it, but not a guy lined up for it. I think Lloyd got a phone call from Jeremy, is it?
Dave.
Oh, Dave, sorry. He's like, I've got someone in town that works for me, wants to move to Edinburgh. He's the most nonchalant person in the world. He's from Southend.
Captain Chill.
And you could be like the busiest morning in the world. Everybody's running around like crazy. He's just like cruising through and nothing's going on.
Chefs would be like getting everything ready, getting all your kit out of the fridge, and he would just be sat at the bar having a coffee because he'd just finished like his service. He'd be like, "What's going on, guys?" He'd be like, "Alex, can you please fuck off? We're really busy. Please go away."
And honestly, if you ask him what made the bread so good, he was like, "It's just bread, mate. Don't care, worry about it." And if he was like, "How old's your starter?" And I'm like, "When it dies, he makes a fresh one. If he has too much like rye flour, he just chucks it all in. He just doesn't overthink it. Beautiful bread." I'm
He
just
would
like,
literally just be like, "Oh, it's flour, water, and salt. There's not much else to it.
so why get stressed? And
It's
you're
just
just like,
technique and good flour. That's all it is."
One of my favorite times I ever went there was Kevin and I went to a pop-up, and it wasn't very good. And we left, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and we're like, we got to go somewhere else, man. This was not good. And we both looked at each other and we were like, Palmerston. And we went, but all we did was just drink a bottle of wine and have a bunch of bread and butter, and it was magical. Yeah. You can say a lot when the best part of that night was just having a bottle of wine and
if it works for
bread
the
and
church,
bread.
it works for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's good bread and butter, isn't
It's a
it?
good bread and butter, man. Good bread and butter. All right, where are you guys from?
I'm from southwest Scotland, so Dumfries and Galway, in a town called Lannan. Well, there's not much going for it. Moved to Edinburgh in the mid-90s, moved down south, moved back to Edinburgh, moved down south again, and moved back to Edinburgh. So Edinburgh's a second home. It's actually home for me now. My parents get annoyed when any publication writes I'm from Edinburgh. I get it, but it's slightly better city, people know of it. So Edinburgh's now been home for 4 years, but on and off for the best part of 10, 12 years.
My mum gets really annoyed when people say Scottish chef. She's like, "You're Australian." I'm like, "And you're English, mum." So I'm from the Blue Mountains outside Sydney. I've been in the UK now for 15 or 16 years. I lived in London for 10 years, met my wife there, and then we moved up a few months after getting married, which would be 5 or 6 years ago. Neither of us can really remember. It was a good party. Yeah, worked all over London, worked a bunch of places in Sydney, but always wanted to move to Edinburgh and open a restaurant. That was always the plan.
When did you first come to Edinburgh?
My wife and I used to come up here all the time for like Christmas and birthdays and that kind of vibe. And I really, really liked Edinburgh. It had that feel of like a very European city, but very easy to go outdoors, which is really important to me. Yeah, just a really nice, relaxed city. But I just was like, there's this restaurant missing.
Yeah.
And it was the one that I had in my brain.
And how did you guys meet? What's the meet cute here?
We never did a service together before we opened a restaurant.
This is true.
We'd never worked together.
Really?
Nope.
It's through friends, so
It's just a vibe.
I Primeur in London in 2015, 16. I remember I went to the GQ Awards when I ran the Harwood Arms, and a friend of mine texted me, was like, "Do you want to come for dinner?" And I remember going to Primeur, and I was a little bit tipsy, ate all the food,
Shit-faced.
and It was the first time I ate there, and the meat courses were amazing. About 4 or 5 years later, I realised it's the first night he cooked meat at Primeur. And he came over, fist bumped me, and walked away. And then I kind of knew
I think I knew Sanj.
You
I said a lot
Sanj,
of Sanj. I can remember you having a laugh and just
Yeah.
being pretty pissed.
And then Scott was a mutual friend who was Vinateka, and he was always harp on about Lloyd, who was at Marylebone. And I remember the first time properly speaking, Lloyd accidentally sent me a meme on Instagram and just kind of started going through there.
We didn't see each other for years. And then I moved to Edinburgh and I was living just around the corner from TIMBERYARD. And James messaged me and said, "What are you up to? Want to go for a pint at Bow Bar?" So we went for a pint. You were going to the rugby or?
I was going to rugby and Lloyd's like, "Should I have a beer?" Told me this full story about what he wanted to do. And I was like, man, London's the epicenter of the world. Why would I move to Edinburgh? I'll do it when I'm 40 and want to retire. And he was like, yeah. I went to rugby, went to this restaurant, which no longer exists in Edinburgh, had a terrible meal. And I was pretty pissed again, being like, fuck it. How hard can it be? And I texted him saying, let's do it. I'd just taken a new job in London and I made him wake up the next morning and be like, how am I going to navigate this? But this was like 2018. And I remember we spoke. And in the summer of 2019, we did a trip around Scotland and came to Wild and we had lunch at his house. And that's where this kind of thing came around. Jess, who had Elliot's, was just like, "Do you want to do a pop-up?" We were like, yeah, all right. And then that was September 2019. And then,
By December, we had a site
yeah.
and then it all fell through.
So there was a site before where you are
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's on Blackfriars Street. Just off
Wasn't
Mile.
there 3 blind mice?
Oh,
So it was at church.
Oh, yeah.
So it was empty and we thought this was going to be class. We were like days away from signing. And the guys who owned it went to their board and wanted a bit more of a JV of us and went, nah, it's our first thing, we want to do it ourselves. This was January 2020. And
It was the day after my granny's funeral.
And I remember texting being like, when you get this, just phone me. And we spoke about it. And we all thought this is the worst thing that could happen. Fast forward 6 weeks and it was the best thing that could happen because COVID kicked in.
COVID was a total blessing for us because we got to plan the restaurant on our own time. I was still on the TIMBERYARD pay because I've been working there for a few months. Thank you, TIMBERYARD. I had all the time in the world to go visit sites and ultimately we got the site really cheap. When I first went and viewed the site, there was still tips sitting in the drawer. There was a full cash register. They'd literally just walked away.
Wow.
There was a full walk-in when we took it and he had some very,
Oh, there were fridges they just turned off the wall. and
very
walked away.
funky Hellman's mayonnaise kicking around. And
Oh no, the Hellman's mayonnaise, you opened it and it was absolutely fine. Hellman's mayonnaise will outlive the
you used it,
cockroaches.
huh?
Yeah, you used it. Yeah.
Shut up.
yeah. Well, next time you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
I can remember going downstairs and there was an onion that had grown a shoot, and the shoot had grown so long that there was nothing left of the onion. It was just this shell of paper. It was an absolute death trap of a site. It was just COVID probably came out of there, but yeah, ultimately we got Palmerston Place because of COVID.
It's funny to hear it that way because now the venue is so part of the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, the brief was that it should feel like a institution from day one, and that was. Do you remember the guy came from Noma? He'd been the head som at Noma for years. I can't remember his name.
Yuki.
Yuki. It was our first busy Sunday. And I remember being like, holy shit, that's a full restaurant. He came in and he said, how many years have you guys been open? We'd been open like 8 weeks. And he was like, shut up. We're like, yeah. But yeah, that was the idea. It would feel like an institution from day one. It should feel like it's been there for decades and decades.
Yeah.
And it does. The first time I went, I was like, how has this always been here? And this is the first time hearing of it. And then to learn that you guys just opened in 2021, it definitely has that feel like it's been here for years.
I think a lot of that comes from us and from our love of restaurants and food and eating and hospitality.
It's also like the building itself has been well worn. I think it's like 1860 something the building was actually built and there was no bank for like 100 odd years.
Yeah.
It was a bank for 120 years and then it was Bean Scene and then it was Starbucks. They got kicked out because there was something to do with the listed. They drilled holes in the oak or something like that, and the council threw them out. And they also didn't pay their gas bill, yeah.
So they got the gas ripped out and we had to reinstate it when we put gas.
Wow.
Yeah, so Starbucks cost a bit of money.
And then it was Cafe Noir by 2 different owners. And then the Rona came along and rest is history.
I love looking at people when they first walk in because they don't expect.
She's got a lot of character.
It's got character, right?
Yeah, I've always thought you could really polish it up and it could feel like one of those big Hungarian, German, big old brasseries. But I'm like, she's fine. I mean, that wall always needs a paint and that's a bit crap and that. But we're owners. You see those things.
Yeah. It's quite a big spot in Edinburgh.
It's not as big as it looks. You could fit more in there, but it's only like 50 covers.
It's a perfect size for a restaurant. It's only small, you don't make a lot of money out of it. We're lucky because we wanted to open a little neighborhood spot. We looked at loads of places around town that were 20, 30 covers. And it's lucky because the restaurant wouldn't have survived. We would have fallen out.
Yeah. Okay, so now what's the division of labor? Like what? Like you're in charge of what and you're in charge of what?
I mean, he's front and I'm back. Well, you do a lot more of the businessy stuff. and I'm there like 5 days a week. But he does a lot of shit that I don't have to do, so I can be there 5 days a week, just putting food on plates.
Talking about the food for a second, you guys change the menu pretty regularly. How does that come about? How do you guys decide what you're going to put on?
So the spiel is this that I tell everyone. Most restaurants write a menu then order food. We order food then write a menu. Right. So you know when it's a Thursday night and you go home and you're like, what am I going to have for dinner? And you open the fridge. It's that, but for hundreds of people. It's that simple. So all the meat comes in whole. Everything's whole animal. And then I work with 3 or 4 different veg companies. I say companies, 3 of them are farms. One of them is an Italian guy that brings stuff over once a week. I literally just bulk order loads and loads of stuff. And chefs will say, what do you want to do with that? I'm like, I'm just putting it in the fridge. We just fill the fridge and then write a menu around it. So whoever's on starters, they'll come in on a Tuesday or whatever day they come in, and there'll be a menu in front of them, and something will be familiar, something won't be familiar. The way the menu breaks down is always the same, the starters and the mains and the puds. But you'll come in and there'll be something different and it'll be like, how do you want to, or they might know, or they may have been on the section the night before. And then at the end of the day, whoever's on that section has to write the menu for the next day.
Oh,
and
really?
it just works like that. So if you've run out of something, oh, hey, I've run out of those leeks we were grilling, then you're like, well, I need to do something else with it. Oh, well, I'm doing them with that chili feta. I've got loads of that left over, so I'm going to use that. So then they go in and use that to build the dish out of that. But really, like, yeah, we make it up as we go along.
And it's whoever's in the different stations sort of sets the menu.
Yeah. I mean, it all kind of goes through me and the sous chefs, but mostly, So I do a butchery shift once a week when I'm just butchering, and that's right next to the walk-in. So they might come in and say, I need a meat starter, but I've got this and I've got that and I don't want to. And I'll always say, like, do you want me to spoon feed you? Because I can give you a dish right now, or do you want to do it yourself? And often they're like, no, I'll do it myself. Or some are just like, I can't be bothered. Give me a dish. And I might do this. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I'm like, I know. That's why I own the restaurant. But yeah, so we just change it all the time. And I mean, at a point now in my career where I couldn't cook any other way. It's really easy for me. You have to have a certain level of confidence in just ordering loads of food. But on top of that, you need a really busy restaurant. Because if you worked in a quiet restaurant, you couldn't just be like, I'm just going to order fucking hundreds of pounds worth of food and like whole animals weeks in advance and be like, I'll sell it. Doesn't work like that. Most businesses don't work like that. But I think it works hand in hand. We're busy because we've always got really fresh food, but we've always got really fresh food because we're really busy. So there's this constant, like, it's washing its own hands.
Yeah. And most of your suppliers are Scotland-based?
Yeah.
Except for the Italian
guy that shows up like once a week.
He's such a pain in the hole. I love him. Yeah, all the animals that we have in the restaurant, I can tell you where they're from and who raised them, drove them to the abattoir, picked them up, and then delivered to the restaurant. There's some things, bits and bobs that we get that just like, if you open the freezer right now, there's a dozen beef hearts that are in there just as a backup. Oh no, I've run out of something and I need something now. Like, you always got to have what we call a Justin, just in case.
Yeah.
Keep that one. Yeah, we know where pretty much most of it comes from.
Yeah.
We try to anyway.
Very cool.
That's amazing. There's a certain dynamism. You guys bring so much energy to the restaurants. One of the things I love about it, but there's also like a real entrepreneurial vibe to the restaurant. You know, you're one of the only restaurants that I have bought swag from. I love the Palmerston and I love James Bond. And I have one of your like live and let pie t-shirts because my wife was like, this is the perfect gift for you. And so that's what my kids gave me. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about this because I'm really interested. You guys sell bread to other restaurants. You guys have swag. Has that always been part of it from like the beginning, that hustle nature to the restaurant?
Not really.
No?
I think it's just something that's quite like organically happened.
We like merch.
But it's just like whenever you go away somewhere, you're in a restaurant, you like, and you see that t-shirt's sick, I want one. And it's a good way to spread the word of a restaurant just by someone else wearing it. It's like free advertisement. I got a lot of friends down in London that all have every single t-shirt we have. But one friend who works for a big company, who that is his uniform for work, is Palmerston t-shirt. Like, when will you stop wearing them? And the bread thing came about, we were going to open a bakery. That wasn't the plan. But then all of a sudden we did. And then people were like, oh, can you do bread for us? And then started to wholesale bread. And then it just naturally evolved. It's the same thing in the restaurant. It didn't start off really, really busy, which was amazing because you had time to think when it first opened, when you're working every single hour of the day for it. And then over the course of 18 months, it got busier and busier. And it just built up from there and there and there. More and more, it went from just your mates buying the first brand t-shirts to when William McPhail did it, people from around the world, you had no idea who they were all buying a t-shirt. I remember Rebecca doing it. She's like, whoa, we sold way too many t-shirts. We need to get some more. She said that like left, right, and center to people in like America and Australia and wherever.
My wife once saw somebody wear one of your t-shirts at a coffee shop in Harvard Square in Boston.
Excellent.
She called me up and she was like, I'm having coffee.
I love that.
And this guy walked in and he was wearing a Palmerston t-shirt. She said something to him. He's like, oh yeah. Last time I was in Edinburgh, I went to this restaurant. I loved it, so I bought one of their t-shirts.
That's why one of our chefs worked for us, because he saw someone in New Zealand wearing a Palmerston t-shirt, no?
Yeah, and he got chatting.
And he went, what's his restaurant? And now Zach's been with us for 18 months.
Pushing 2
Yeah.
years.
He just came over, sat at the bar, and was like, I want a job.
Super cocky bollocks. Was like, I'm going to go work there. Stalked us from afar, and then moved to Edinburgh, thinking I'm going to go work at the Palmerston. But the backstory is that I was in a mood when his CV got put in front of me, and I scrunched up and threw it in the bin. And then the next day, a chef resigned, and I was like, "Where's that fucking CV? Where's that fucking CV? I need that fucking chef." And I emailed him and said, "Can you drop your CV off sometimes?" And he was like, "I'll be at the bar in 10 minutes." And was just at the bar, and I was like, "Well, here's an interview."
When I'm not talking to chefs and restaurant owners, I run this management consultancy that I set up a long time ago. And the staff always joke, because I basically just future truth everything. And the whole joke is that this might not be true today, but it will be true at some point in the future. And so the staff is like, that's just Carlos lying until it becomes true.
Like
and I
it.
was like,
In Australia, we call that bullshit.
yeah, exactly. Well, listen, that guy future truth his way into a job at the Palmerston.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Fake it till you make it,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
That's what my mum taught me. Fake it till you make it.
100%. And even when you make it, you're still kind of faking it.
That's when the imposter syndrome
Yeah,
kicks in.
exactly. Yeah.
I can still remember unpacking the first veg delivery and being like, how am I going to sell all this fucking food? There's so much food. Why is there so much lettuce? Oh, God, how much am I selling a green salad for?
But like with every new thing that you guys take on, like expanding to the bakery, starting to sell your bread, all these different avenues, does that fear come through all of that? Are you always like, oh, is this next thing that we're doing going to work?
I don't think there is fear, because it's just, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you just sit in your arse and doing one thing. I get really bored and restless. Some people say about ADHD, but they're usually ex-girlfriends of mine or current girlfriends.
Yeah, but also we're both really good at weighing risk, at looking at stuff and being like, yeah, this would be fine. This would be great.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The restaurant came about from doing something that we wanted. And any future projects are like, what do we want from the city, and what do we want to add to it, and how can we make it fun? And especially when we first opened the restaurant, I didn't believe in the thing I did, so I made sure I surrounded my people with people that were really good at what they did. So I was like, I'll get so-and-so to work on wine. Ali had been working at Lowdown, and he was like, oh, can I come work in coffee? I was like, yeah, I have no idea anything about coffee. And all of a sudden our coffee became like a big thing, and then someone else was behind the bar for me, and then it's just like little things. I was like, shit, how do I make sure we don't fail, or make sure I don't look like an idiot?
Yeah.
So you just surround yourself with people, and that's what I've done with, and you just find more and more people that just want to.
Can we talk a little bit more about that? Because clearly you guys are doing something right in terms of who you hire and how you develop talent. You guys have not been around that long, right? It's been a few years, but yet
4 years in August.
4 years in August. But yet you guys have an amazing alumni network. I can think of multiple people who have worked at the Palmerston, who have gone on to open, whether it's SOTTO or Lannan. You have hit on to something.
I think it's trusting people. And then a natural talent will come out. It's one of those things where I wouldn't say we've even nurtured anyone. I think they just come on and we've given them the space and the platform to go spread your wings and do your thing. And it's great because so many places have opened up that kind of catch us. Next place to open is Norah down in Newhaven, which is Claire, who worked for us since day one. And I've heard about this place she wanted to open for ages and ages and ages. And so she's doing that. And James came to work with us because he loved the restaurant. He's like, hey, I want to open a restaurant, but I need some work in between. You mind if I come do stuff at the Palmerston? And then he came and did that for a few months, and now when you sit there, he's like, oh yes, I stole this from you, I took that from you, I took this from you. And I'm like, sick.
Like,
That's
great,
amazing,
crack
because
on.
then what they're doing is taking bits of our restaurant, which is something that we love everything of, and putting in their restaurants. Then we go to the restaurant, it's like, class, I love that you do this, I love that you do that. Like, I didn't invent it. I didn't invent, like, oh yeah, make sure we shut down the restaurant and everyone has staff dinner from 4 till 5. It's a great thing to do because the whole team gets together. And I don't know, I think we've been very fortunate, touch wood. We had a lot of really talented people come through us. And,
Still do.
Yeah, and then they keep going and they go on to the next thing and next thing and next thing. And like, these restaurants that have been around for like 20 years now, and X, Y, and Z all started in like day one.
But it speaks volumes of you guys, because in the exact same way, if I know someone's worked at the Palmerston and they're opening up X, I will 100% go, because it's going to be great no matter what it is.
It's also a nice one now as well, because when I first moved up, I didn't know many people. It was like all my mates were people that worked with me. And now I'm like, thank fuck you've left. I can be friends with someone that doesn't work for me. I remember I was at Stockbridge eating house. I was having lunch there. 1, 2, 3, 4 people all worked for the Palmerston at one point. I was like, this is sick. And there's a cool crew there, and everyone. And when you go to restaurants, you want it to be chilled and you just hang with your mates. And I was like, this is perfect.
It's got to be a cool feeling to have built that yourself, to have such an influence on the Edinburgh food scene in such a short period of time. Do you guys think at all about the impact that you have on the scene and feel a responsibility to the scene, or things that you want to maintain as the scene grows?
I just want to keep cooking nice food, honestly.
Yeah, just keep having fun.
I just want the Palmerston to stay the Palmerston. I want it to keep like churning out good chefs and like being as creative as possible. That's all I want, and to pay my mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Well, Carlos has that covered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On this journey, obviously, for almost 4 years, what's one of the things that has surprised you the most?
How much people love the restaurant? Honest to God,
Yeah.
for me, I don't know what yours is, but yeah, I carried that restaurant in my brain for such a long time. And then, like, you know, like James said, we've brought so many people in that have added to it and have made it what it is today. The fact that everyone loves it that much, I'm like, that's great. That's great. It fills my heart. It really does.
Just happy to be paying the bills still.
Yeah.
I know, it's just one of those things. Is like we've received various accolades along the way, and every morning I wake up after award ceremony, I'm like, nah, that didn't happen. I'm like, oh shit. How do we make sure that happens again? And I have an absolute fear in me. I think what surprises me most is that London isn't the centre of the world, which is what I thought it was. The really cool thing now is that people come up from London, they start to experience this new city, and they're like, wow, it's amazing. And you're like, yeah, Edinburgh is amazing. I came up thinking, oh, Edinburgh's not much going for it. And I remember sitting on like a Tuesday night being like, there's nowhere for dinner. And then all of a sudden you realise what's actually open and what's good in the city, and you get out of town, and it's just, yeah, it's a great kind of balance in life as well, because you don't have the stress. And as I said to you before, you have a real community here. Yeah. And that's what really surprised me, because like, when you work in London, there's like tight, close-knit communities of certain restaurants and either certain levels or certain levels of cooking. Whereas when I moved to Edinburgh, everyone wanted to help you. Whereas down there, it was a case of, no, they're our guests and we want their money. Whereas we're just like, cool, everyone wants to spread love in Edinburgh. So it's not as cutthroat.
It's like what Rebecca just designed the Palmerston recommends. It's literally a card that we give out to guests of like, these are everywhere else in Edinburgh that we recommend. As opposed to London, it's like real dog eat dog. Like, they're our guests.
I think when you have a place that has that kind of community feel and all the restaurants are looking out for one another and trying to raise everybody's profile, it really makes it a fun place to be.
Yeah. And it's just a shared excitement as well. And you get tours in town, they're like, what you're doing is like, oh, I'm going up Arthur Street. I'm like, do not waste your time. There's two other hills which are much better. There won't be a queue getting up it, and you'll be able to go Blackford Hill, you go Carlton Hill. They come back and they went, man, that was amazing. Don't go anywhere near Arthur Street. It's just a tourist trap. And it's just when you pass on at restaurants and it's like friends of yours that have a place, you're like, you should probably go here, it's much better. And like, you go to these guys, you go to that guys, especially because of where we are as well, we're so central. And you want to kind of push them out of the central. So if anyone wants to eat seafood, I'm like, go Finn and Grape. It may feel like a million miles away from you, but it's not. It's like 15 minutes, and it's probably some of the best seafood cooking in Edinburgh. I love that place. It's amazing. The wine list is class as well. The staff are brilliant. It's one of those places as well where you feel like Stu, who has it, it's everything he loves about a restaurant. And it really kind of goes, and the whole team are like behind it.
Even with us, we're two Americans that live here and love the scene here. But it is such like a welcoming community. And when we decided to do this podcast, immediately everybody was like, oh my God, because everybody loves the scene and everybody wants to celebrate the scene. And there's not one person on the podcast that hasn't been like, try this place, go to eat here, or this person, I used to work with them, we were coming up together. It's just, it's a community.
So you guys have both mentioned wanting to maintain what the Palmerston is going forward, continuing to keep it a special place. How do you do that? What are the challenges that you've faced so far in doing that? And what do you see needing to do in order to keep it an institution?
That's just consistency of restaurants. Like, that's what you do day to day. That's the best way I can really answer that question. You just keep at it.
Yeah, keep going. The big thing, and it's cliche, it's staff. Say we have a short staff and you're desperate and you start hiring people and you're like, oh, this doesn't quite work out, and you feel it. You feel the quality dip a little bit, and you just have that drive to make it that bit better. And then all of a sudden you have a team full of people, which I think we have now in both front of house and back house, a whole team of people that are really bought into it. Whereas there's been some times where the kitchen's been short, or we've had a few people that are just doing it because it's a job, they don't really care. But yeah, I think the main thing to keep it consistent is to have a team that believes in what you do and let them do their thing, because that's what we've done.
Especially given how much space you give your team to show off and to do their own thing, having the right people to be able to do that makes all the difference.
If I've got 5 chefs who are all throwing ideas in the ring, it just makes my life so much easier. Why would I say, no, we're going to cook this instead? When it's like, oh, you want to do that? Cool, you do that. Because then they're going to go and do that thing that's kick-ass. Josh, our junior sous chef, he's been saying for ages he wanted to do a lasagna. And I was like, I don't know. He wanted to do it for set lunch. He said, in the freezer, there's some beef mince from the last cow. It's the very end of it. I'm going to make a ragu. I'm going to do lasagna for Sunday lunch. I'm on that Sunday lunch. I'm going to do it for a sharer. And I was like, yeah, cool. And we did it, and we had some ox cheek left over, and I was like, oh, let's get some ox cheek in it. Ox cheek and Comté lasagna. What? And he did that, and we sold them. They were great. They're absolutely amazing. So if I'm saying no to every idea he has, then like I'm just going to shit on all his ideas, and he's going to be miserable and go work somewhere else. But Josh has been with us now for pushing 3 years. He's great. Like, they're all great for me anyway. They work in a place where your ideas are listened to, and you can throw stuff on the menu all the time. Sometimes to their detriment. The onus of responsibility is a lot of the time on them to do it.
So what about the hard stuff? What is the thing that keeps you guys up at night regarding the restaurant?
For me, it's all the little maintenance things. There's a problem with the walk-in at the moment. The oven keeps dying. The this, the that. The KP's a pain. KPs keep me awake at night. fuck, keeping kitchen porters is like the most difficult thing. Yeah, it's all the little
Not
little
the mayo,
niggly thing.
not the 4-year-old mayo in the corner.
Fucking, can we let this joke die? Yeah, for me, it's all the like little niggly things. But when you're a business owner, you see all the problem as a whole. You see all the holes, all the cracks in the boat. But it's probably fine. It's probably fine.
No one else sees it.
No one else is seeing it. No one else is seeing it.
If I can tell you what I see, it's all I can see.
Yeah, it's the things that keep me up at night are the things that keep us moving forward. Because in fact, if I wasn't keeping ourselves busy, then we wouldn't be progressing to something new and something else. And it's worse for losing sleep. It's not switching off, but not in a bad way. But it's more like always doing something. And without that, you wouldn't go and do something else. Yeah, I always had the fear that it's going to fall apart one day, but touch wood it doesn't. If it does, great. Get to have
It's been a great ride.
It's been fun.
And you have a lot of friends who have other places
Yeah, and then it's
where
like,
you can go eat.
I'll
now.
go work at SOTTO. It's a positive thing. And I wouldn't say I'm losing sleep over things. It's just my mind doesn't stop working, which a lot of people will be like, James, can you please focus on what we're talking about? And I'm like, yeah, but what about this? What about that? What about this? And I'll just change a conversation and an idea will come to my head and I'll forget it straight away. It's like, get off your phone. I'm like, no, I need to send myself an email to remind myself of what I just thought about. Otherwise, I'll forget about it. And it's just stuff like that. So it's just more of a
We both do
brain.
that. It
not
just doesn't- it just-
It doesn't stop.
Oh,
It just keeps going, yeah. I take a lot of melatonin.
yeah.
Sometimes I take melatonin and I still don't sleep. I'm going through that period right now.
You just take more
I
melatonin.
take melatonin at night and like 3 a.m. I'm awake thinking about like, if I get that, I messaged James earlier. I was like, I want to get this new ice cream tuner. It's really expensive, but and it's been in my head for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To my response, it was, how big is the capacity? Because last night, ice cream was getting churned. And Sarah was like, if you eat that, I don't have to clean it as much as if you don't eat it.
That's the most Sarah response to
So
anything.
I was just like to him, I was like, what's the capacity of it? Because it means I can eat some more ice cream.
The perks of the job.
Exactly.
Yeah, that may be what kept me up last night was the amount of ice cream I ate about 10 o'clock at night.
Fair enough. And what's next for like you two and the Palmerston?
Go to open a pub.
Oh, very exciting.
So this kind of came about 2.5 years ago.
Came about from you boozing at Newbarns.
Yeah, so Gordon, who owns Newbarns, is a good friend of ours, and the whole team have a very similar outlook on restaurants and what they like. And so when I met them, they worked in London for ages, we worked in London for ages, and there's certain pubs in London that we love, like the Canton Arms, Anchor and Hope, those sort of things.
I used to live by the Anchor and Hope, and that was my Palmerston.
So good, isn't it? That and Canton are just like, they're proper pubs. So I remember Gordon came to delivery one day within the first year, and he was like, do you want to grab a coffee? I'm free at 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. I was like, for fuck's sake, I don't have a day off here. I'm working all the time. I was like, yeah, sure, no worries. So we had a coffee, we spoke about it. We're just like, look, let's not rush things. If someone comes about, I like what you do, you like what we do, so let's really get into it. So fast forward to January 2024, and I was meant to go away on holiday, but I had to cancel it because my granddad passed away. So that January, I was just in Edinburgh just doing my thing. I went on a last minute holiday and he phoned me. He was like, Mick, there's a site on Easter Road. Do you want to come see it? And I walked in and I was like, it is a shell. They ripped everything out. There was no electrics, no plumbing. And I had the perfect footprint. And yeah, if I pay a big bill today or tomorrow, we should hopefully get the keys very, very soon. Wow. And then we can open up a pub, which will be like Newbarns and the Palmerston. And the plan is to make a proper pub that you can go in, sink 10 pints you want and go away and watch some sports on TV. And bit in the back, kind of like the Canton is, where you walk in, it's a boozer in the front. In the back, there's tables and chairs and it's a cool little restaurant, but it's just proper hearty food. So that should hopefully come within the next year.
That's amazing. All right, so we're going to wrap up. We have a series of rapid fire wrap-up questions that we tend to ask everybody.
Is it how much you look like Mark Ruffalo? Every time you keep looking up at me, I'm like, oh, Mr. Ruffalo.
So thank you for that.
No
That's
worries.
made my day.
It's literally all I've been able to think about the entire thing.
I mean, fair enough.
Rapid
But Mark
fire,
Ruffalo,
please.
like 13 going on 30 or like now?
Now,
Oof, okay, not the wrong answer, but okay.
No.
All right.
Mark Ruffalo looks fantastic.
For a man of your age, that's
Fuck
a compliment.
you, man of my age. Okay.
Do you know what? You get two guys that are losing their hair in this room. You got a great head of hair.
Right.
You shut the fuck up about like.
Yeah, exactly.
None of that is going to make it the podcast. But what's the hidden gem on the menu that you wish more people ordered?
Sides of anchovy.
Yes.
The olives.
Now I know.
The olives.
The olives.
The olives and the cheese.
Olives and the
Because
cheese.
like we set a garnish to the cheese, but don't just like do a cheese plate.
Right.
Like we try to think about what we're putting on the plate. And the olives, they're from a Greek guy around the corner on Morrison Street, and they're really good olives.
Okay.
All right.
Kalamata from Greek, they're very good.
All right. My wife is a huge olive fan, and so she'll be excited about that.
I mean, they've been on the menu since day one. So.
I know I'm not an olive fan, and so I feel like she's ordered them before, but I
And you'd be
can't.
like,
Yeah, I'm like, psh. But now I'll
It's
have
so funny.
now
You
I'll
tell
have
them
to
she's
try
like, I eat them every time.
Right, exactly. She's like, yeah, I know.
I told you pay no attention to me.
Yeah.
This is
all
the
right.
slowest quickfire.
I know, right? When a friend comes to visit Edinburgh, what restaurant are you taking them to?
I could get Finn and Grape,
All right.
Sabzi,
Okay.
Rice Noodle Bar. When Norah opens, I'll be going to Norah down in Newhaven.
Yeah.
Where else?
Leave some for him, man.
I cook at home. I got a kid, and like I'm just gonna hang out at home and.
A lot of it depends on what's like where they want to eat and kind of what they want. I had friends up and went to Yorna, amazing restaurant. I don't often eat in more higher end things within the city. And another friend came up from London as well, and I went to TIMBERYARD back there for the first time in a while, and it was absolute knockout.
Really?
It's always been amazing.
Yeah.
But I went like 6 months ago, and holy shit, it is like so good. Everything was like spinal on tap. Everything just been turned up to 11. But being TIMBERYARD, it was just so chill and it was like class. But when friends come up, it's more like a where do you want to go? These are the places I eat regularly. Like I'll go to the mosque for a curry, but you probably don't want to do that. And like I want to do this, want to do that. And again, it's like
I take my mum to the mosque.
it is
She
brilliant.
loves a good curry.
But you get to then rediscover restaurants that you wouldn't think about eating at every single day of the week. But your friends in town, you're like, sick. Where do you want to go? And I'm coming with you.
I'd say Finn and Grape and Let's Go Go. Let's Go Go is slept on. Not a lot of people go. Fred is a French master.
Okay.
Get him on the podcast.
All
I'll
right.
give you his number. It's
And
very
SOTTO, of course.
And SOTTO, of course.
And SOTTO. All right. You walk into the restaurant and start your prep for the day. What music or band is playing in the Palmerston kitchen?
It depends on the amount of work I've got to do in the morning, but mostly it's Rage Against the Machine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll start my day with Rage Against the Machine.
With Rage? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mine's real varied.
Yeah.
Like-
Jeez, it's varied.
It sounds cliche, but big Taylor Swift fan up to about Midnight's terrible album onwards.
All right.
So I listen to a lot of that. Then I could be like, oh, I need to wake up, and like Alexa on Fire, off you go. And then recently when I was in Marseille, I went to a restaurant called Livingston, and they're playing like Baby No Money, Central C, and I was like, this is sick. So I got a playlist based off that, and it's more of a what's going to be able to sing along to. Usually when it gets like 8:45, you're like, people are going to start walking in here. That's when you turn on the heavier stuff. So you turn up full blast, they walk in and be like, are you open? I'm like, do you think I'm open?
Yeah.
The chairs are up and the music's really loud, but give me a second, I'll sit you down.
We have quite loud music in the kitchen because it's an old bank. You can't hear anything outside the kitchen. But James has music on to the extent that the chefs walk back into the kitchen. They're like, music's quite loud.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift album?
Oh, that's hard. Lover's great. I think Lover's underrated. 1989 is like the one that really got me. 'Cause I remember I was at kitchen table and the chefs in the back, they were short, there's like two of them, when Shake It Off just come out. And I remember the rap came on and then you every single word and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And I was like, this is amazing. I really got into that album. And then I tell you, Reputation's a great album.
Me and my two kids and my wife are all big Taylor Swift fans.
What do you think about like Midnights and Torture Poets?
So I like Midnights. Torture Poets I did not like. And then I started listening to it a lot. And now I listen to it. It's always on in the
couldn't
background.
get into it.
I didn't like it at first. It took a while, but now it's every morning I play a different album for the kids, and Torture Poets makes a lot.
See, when she dropped Folklore during lockdown, that was iconic because I was like, holy shit, what have you just done? And I remember when that came on, it was like, I listened to that a lot.
How many nights of her Murrayfield run did you go to?
I didn't go to any. I sat outside on the steps with a lot of young Taylor Swift fans. It was emotional, but I remember I was at a whiskey tasting that day. We were down at Last
The most
Word,
James story ever.
and it was a friend of mine put it on, and I was with my girlfriend and her friend. And we're like, you know what? We're going to go down. So we went to like Tesco's, got little RTDs, just sat tanning. And I remember a younger Taylor Swift fan having a debate with me about how I thought Midnights was a shit album. And I just went off on one. And they were just like, I could see her parents being like, what are you, what's going on here?
Why
And
are you here arguing with a 12-year-old?
I was like, I'm not a creep. I've just got an opinion.
I'm not a creep, but your daughter's got a shit opinion.
All right. Last question. Between rice, bread, and pasta, you can only have one for the rest of your life. What are you going
I
with?
thought you were going to say between rice and noodles, because that's the hard question. But rice is life, so.
Rice it is.
Pasta.
Pasta. Okay.
Like the hard one is like rice noodles. That's a real hard one. Yeah. Whereas like if it's between rice and the other two, rice is
all
bread,
day.
man.
No, man.
See, but the choice between bread and pasta, I'd just fucking.
Right? Yeah, that's the hard one.
That's the
like
real
rice
question.
is
That's
rice.
the real question.
Rice is off the table first for me.
Do you have a good rice cooker?
No.
There you go. So you're wrong. Perfectly cooked rice is the.
Bread for me is off the table. I love bread, but between the three, it's like it's just
He started this whole thing talking about how much he loves the Palmerston
I do
bread,
love
but
the
now
Palmerston-
he's kicking it out.
No, but rice, come on. Like there's
No, I
rice
agree
on the
with
menu.
you.
I could eat it for every meal. Guys, this has been great.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
for
much.
coming.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks, chaps.
A lot of fun.
See you in season 3 for Cooper's Rest.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, like 8,000%. That was was such a fun conversation.
They're totally two dudes that would be great to have a beer with,
Correct.
talk shit with.
Correct, 100%. So our next guest is also really special. So much so that the Palmerston crew has had their Christmas party at this restaurant. Kev, who are we talking to?
So next up, we're going to be talking to Stevie from Sabzi, the incredible Indian restaurant in Trinity. It's really an incredible story of a family-owned business that has insisted on doing things their own way and have had incredible success as a result.
Yeah, it really is a family affair. There's so many things that they do that I almost feel wouldn't work in other restaurants. Stevie's a wonderful character, and he just brings so much life and joy to the food. And he's such an ambassador for like the Edinburgh food scene. And he is big personality,
Yeah.
a lot of energy. If you haven't eaten at Sabzi's, you will want to.
So listeners, until next time, make that reservation at the Palmerston and make sure you get over to Sabzi. We'll speak to you soon.